Every once in a little while, there's a new video game in town that makes people wonder, is this thing actually coming to mobile? Right now, Neverness to Everness, also known as NTA, is probably one of those games. I mean, this massive upcoming title is being developed by the same team behind Tower of Fantasy, and it's also published by Perfect World Games. And what makes NTE actually stand out immediately is just its ambition. It's a supernatural open world action RPG built using Unreal Engine 5, and it's planned to launch not only on PC and PlayStation 5, but also Android and iOS mobile devices. Well, that combination alone has people paying a lot of attention, because Unreal Engine 5 is usually associated with some of the most technically advanced games in the industry. Well, seeing that technology powering a free-to-play open-world action RPG that you can potentially play on your phone is something we don't really see every day. Now, the good news is the game is actually planned to release by the end of April. In fact, on April 29th. And we're not really sure if it's coming to Android and iOS on the same day it's coming to consoles and PC, but there's a lot of hype with it. But what exactly is Neverness to Everness here? And could this actually become one of the biggest mobile games of the next few years? Now let's break it down. A supernatural open world city. At the center of Neverness to Everness is a massive urban setting known as Hethereau, where unlike many open world RPGs that take place in fantasy kingdoms or post-apocalyptic wastelands, this one's built around a modern city environment filled with these mysterious supernatural phenomena called anomalies. And these anomalies can appear anywhere throughout the city and just cause strange, sometimes really dangerous events. And that's basically where the player comes in. You play as a character known as an appraiser, someone who works with an organization tasked with investigating and controlling these anomalies. Your job's to explore the city, uncover strange phenomena, and just deal with threats that ordinary citizens really cannot handle themselves. But the world itself isn't just a backdrop. These developers have made it clear that the city of Hethereau is meant to feel alive, with multiple districts, neighborhoods, businesses, and everyday activities happening all around you. Think of it less like a typical RPG map and more like a living urban sandbox. And that's pretty much where the comparisons really start. Anime GTA, but with supernatural powers. One of the reasons NTE has been getting so much attention lately is because many people describe it as something like anime GTA mixed with a gacha RPG. Now, obviously that comparison isn't perfect, but you can see where it really comes from. The game features a large open city where players can explore freely, drive vehicles, interact with the environment, something that's more commonly associated with open world crime games than anime RPGs. For example, players get to collect vehicles, customize them, use them to travel around the city, which is pretty unusual for a gacha-style RPG. And that's not the only system that pushes the game. Beyond the traditional RPG design, the developers have also mentioned features like housing systems, minigames and side activities, business and property ownerships, vehicle upgrades, and just so much more. And you can't ignore that these help make the world feel more like a modern life simulation inside an RPG environment. Combat in Neverness to Everness also happens in real time, where a player controls the characters with their own unique abilities and the combat styles, and like many modern gacha games, the game uses a team-based system, where you build a squad of characters and swap between them during combat to create something powerful, a better combination maybe. And if that sounds familiar, it's because the system shares a lot of similarities with other popular games in the genre. Here's the thing, Neverness to Everness is trying to combine that fast-paced action combat with something a little bigger. A fully explorable city environment, and that's a big challenge, which eventually brings us to the engine powering it all. Built with the use of Unreal Engine 5, one of the biggest reasons people are excited right now about Neverness to Everness is the technology behind it. The game is built using Unreal Engine 5, the same engine used for some of the most visually impressive games currently in development right now. For a game that's targeting mobile devices, it's impressive, but it also raises a big question. And the answer to that question is yes, it's actually coming to mobile. One of the most important things about this game, especially for mobile gaming fans, is that it's officially planned to launch on Android and iOS. Because open world RPGs built on Unreal Engine 5 are typically designed for much powerful devices. Bringing that type of experience to smartphones is just extremely challenging. But the developers seem committed to making it work. In fact, pre-registration for the mobile version is already open on both Google Play and the Apple Store, showing that mobile is a major part of the game release's strategy. Another interesting feature is cross-platform progression. This means players will be able to switch between devices, continuing the same progress on both devices. For modern online games, that kind of flexibility is becoming increasingly important lately. And if it works smoothly, it could really make this game very appealing to a huge audience. Even though Neverness to Everness has been talked about for a while, the game is still in active development, and folks are releasing trailers. These developers have already run several closed beta tests, including a large global test phase where players were able to explore parts of the game and give feedback that eventually, help the developers improve things like character models, performance and optimization, gameplay systems, and, just overall presentation. Which is pretty normal for large online RPGs. Games like this often go through multiple testing phases before their full release. But the good news is that the project seems to be moving steadily toward launch. Anyway, release window. According to the most recent information available, Neverness to Everness is planned to release worldwide April 29. Like I said, it's coming to PC, PlayStation 5, Android, and iOS. The game will also be free to play, which is typical for large gacha-style RPGs, and judging by the amount of attention the game has already received, the launch could be massive. Reports suggest that millions of players have already pre-registered, unlocking early in-game rewards ahead of the release. For a new IP that's maybe it's because it's trying to combine several huge ideas together all at once as a mobile game. A large open city, supernatural storytelling, fast-paced action, vehicle driving and customization, life simulation features like housing and businesses. And on top of all that, it's powered by, once again, Unreal Engine 5. That's just the ambitious mix. And when a game tries to do this much at once, people naturally become curious. Because if the developers really manage to pull it off, even partially, it could become one of the most unique RPG experiences ever. Right now, Neverness to Everness is shaping up to be one of the most interesting games on the horizon. It's ambitious, technically impressive, and is aiming to deliver a massive world across multiple platforms. But like many big online RPGs, the real test will of course come after launch. That's when we'll see how well the systems work, how optimized the mobile version is, whether the world of Hethereau truly lives up to the hype. So until then, NTE remains one of the most fascinating upcoming games to keep an eye on. And if you're someone who loves open world RPGs, especially ones that push the limits of mobile gaming, this definitely is a game that's worth watching. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you again tomorrow.